hey mate, I was just wondering how long the old VJ33 on the WLT lasts at 30 psi, mate.
Yeah, nah, not very long, mate.
Oh boy, what happens, mate?
Yeah, I'll show you. I'll fucking show you.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, it's oil. Oh, listen to that. Can you see it? There's no play. No play at all.
So after winding the old boost tap up to young 30 pounder, she's broken the shaft right in the centre, right about there. So the exhaust turbine and the intake turbine are now two pieces instead of one. Nice. The problem with it though, when it goes, is that there's the oil feed right there. So that banjo line coming in just at the top there feeds oil to the shaft and keeps the bearings nice and lubricated. It's just like spitting on it, you know. So that keeps it nice and lubed. So when that shaft breaks and those two become two, the oil keeps getting fed. So half the oil goes straight down the exhaust and gets burnt out the pipe and it smokes like handy as. And the other half of the oil gets pushed into the intake, and because there is vacuum created, because the engine's sucking on its, you know, suck, bang, blow, smoke, stroke or something. So it's pumping oil into the intake and it's just filling the intercooler up with oil, feeding it straight into the intake and just burning it straight off. So there is the risk of a diesel engine runaway. And if you don't know what a diesel engine runaway is, I'll show you a quick one now. Obviously not my video, but fill your boots, man. Go Google diesel engine runaways because they're pretty impressive, eh? They're pretty sick, man. But we'll start it up now because we've got to get it up the driveway and pull this turbo off and stick on the big TD06. Look, there's even oil coming out of the wastegate flangey thing. Before we do it though, so I don't get snookered, I'm gonna have to grab Cliffy, get him out the gate, and then start up the big Altegra and that out the driveway. So if it doesn't quite go to plan, I can still, you know, drive somewhere to pick up parts. So I'll have to fire up the big 3 SGE beams, dual VVTi, oh Yamaha. Check out these socks. They've got shoes in them. Oh, what's going on? What's going on in the kitchen? Oh my God, there's a bird in there. And I have 2 cats. I actually have 3 cats. Yes, I am weird. Hello guys, what's happening? Yes, much is happening, isn't it? Leave the birdie alone, Spot. No, he's my friend. You go there, eat your food. Come here, birdie. It's okay, I will help you. I won't give you to my cats for food. Spot, get out. Good birdie. Yep, just got me some new jumper cables. Can't you tell? Yeah, real nice. Right, now I'm sure most of you know, but some of us don't. So for those of you that don't, I'm going to do a quick tutorial on how the turbocharger actually works and what its principle is. Turbochargers are real efficient. Superchargers run like an alternator. Well, no, they don't run like an alternator. Superchargers do run though off the serpentine belt or the drive belts off the front pulleys of your engine. So therefore, they take power away or efficiency away from the motor because they're causing drag and friction to run. They're always loaded up. So Therefore, you're robbing Peter to give Paul. You know, you're going to gain some, but you're going to lose a little. Turbos, they scavenge off exhaust gases. So what is a waste product of your engine's combustion system anyway? It's going out the exhaust, it's waste, goes through the exhaust turbine, and it starts to spin. See, we're spinning, yeah. Now, the exhaust turbine is connected through to the intake side, as here. Well, not there, because that's blowing, you're fucked. So, when the exhaust turbine spins, as you can see, the intake side spins. The intake side then creates pressure through the charge piping, which goes through into the intake plenum and gets pressurized into the motor. Therefore, it's basically like blowing on your fire when the kindling's trying to get lit. Now, on your turbo, you have at the back here this gate right there, which is your wastegate actuator, which is there. So there's a little flap. It's basically a bypass regulation valve. So what happens is when the charge piping fills up with air, it pushes this diaphragm in here, which has a spring behind it, pushes this rod, goes through it, opens up a little flap. It's basically the spillway at a dam. So once the turbo reaches 10-12 psi, whatever the regulator is set at, it will open that flap and it'll send exhaust gases past the turbo. So instead of it going through that wheel, it comes out of that gate and therefore holds the intake side at a desired speed or RPM, which will then give you your desired boost input or output, whichever way you want to look at that. So turbos are a real efficient way of getting air into the motor. As you know, well, as you might not know, motors, I'm not sure what the equation is, but it's like for every 1 part of fuel they need like 23 parts of oxygen. So the only way they can get oxygen into them is through their suck stroke, and they need a good amount of vacuum, so you need good compression, good rings, you know, to get a good suck, to get a good amount of vacuum and air into the motor. Just add a turbo and it's like blowing on the fire. So the problem with mine being blown is that shaft that connects that impeller wheel to the exhaust turbine impeller wheel has snapped right dead smack bang in the center. Once it snapped in the center, the exhaust turbine can pretty much fall out and go down the exhaust. The intake one's all floppy dick like you've seen in my one, and the oil that is supposed to lube that bearing shaft and, you know, be sealed just in that area is now able to go through there and out there, which is what you're doing. So in order to get this thing off, I need to take off all my exhaust manifold bolts, take off my charge piping from about there, undo some water and oil lines, it's all pretty easy, and undo the dump pipe, which is the start of the exhaust. So we'll start by undoing the charge piping and get rid of you and you. Oh, come back, I'm gonna need you. And get rid of you. Oh, come on, come on, come on. Yep, that's the one. By the way, I know there's still comments happening in the comment section, and I've been real shit, you know. It's kind of a bit difficult time for me, a bit busy, you know, with lots of stuff going on. I've been coming down. I did try and go back and answer the last 2 videos with the comments, and I'll definitely be sure to keep on top of it now. So sorry fellas, I know I'm a shit cunt. Just undoing the water and oil lines now. I know some people, a lot of people actually don't really, and some turbos actually don't run them anyway, like to hook up the water lines. And I disagree with that. I know you don't really need them, but if they've got them, why not hook them up? And the reason being, in my mind, is because your turbo obviously operates under extreme temperatures, being that it's on the exhaust manifold. Now if you can keep, and there's oil feeding to it also. Now if you can keep the turbo just a little bit cooler by running the water lines to it, it's going to keep the oil temperature down, the core temperature of the turbo is going to stay down, and therefore any heat that the turbo is going to give off into the air, the pressurized air that it's creating, is going to be all just lower. It's going to keep the whole numbers are all going to be lower. If you don't have the water cooling going to it, the core of the turbo is going to be hotter. Therefore, the oil that passes through it is going to be superheated. It's going to get it's going to have a lot more heat exchange, and therefore it's going to return to the engine at, you know, it could be a good sort of 10 to 15 degrees hotter, meaning your engine itself is going to run hotter. So by running the water, it's just keeping everything at an even potential, and why the fuck not, right? So I'd like to hear your reasons on why you don't run water to your turbo, because that's my reason on why I do run water to my turbo. So hopefully I can run water to the next turbo, because I'm a big fan, eh? I'm a big fan. Look, I haven't even hooked these fucking... Look at this, I didn't even take that off. Fuck, I'm an average cunt. Oh yeah, having a degreasy party. Woo! Come on. Oh, it's actually electrical cleaner. Oh well. This is your basic C service when you own a WLT. You got your A service, which is every 10,000 k's. You got your oil filter and a clutch. Then you got your B service, which is your oil filter, clutch and gearbox. And then you got a C service on a WLT, which is routine maintenance every 15,000 k's, which is oil filter, clutch, gearbox and a turbo. So yeah, fucking just love it, eh? Just fucking love it. Here we go. Come on, mate. See you later. Oh, complete shit show, boys. Videoed it all, getting installed in 4K, you know. Yeah, come on, the good quality. Took it for a test rip, you know. Go to edit the video. Oh, need codecs for 4K. Can't download them. Can't even pay for them. Like, what the hell? So, it's all on there. We got our TD06, we got our steam pipe manifold, we've got our nice braided oil line, we've got an external manifold, an external wastegate, sorry. We've got an external wastegate, plumbed back into the dump pipe. It's feeding into our nice big front mount intercooler. And we've got the boost tap back on there, and the boost tap's hooked into our wastegate, and that's holding some pressure back to regulate it off at about 20 pound. Must be about a 5 pound spring in there, because without the tap, it was running about 5 psi. Smash the tap on there, 20. Yeah, babe. So it's all running pretty sweet. We've got our oil lines on there, we've got our water lines, the return, nothing's leaking, everything's as it should be. Everything seems pretty tight and, you know, pretty sweet. But, doesn't really boost very much, eh? I'll show you what I mean. Let's go for a drive. Right, my exhaust does end at like the gearbox, because I've only got so far of 3-inch piping, and I don't want to go put my like 2-inch exhaust on there and then sort of smother it up, and it'll sort of maybe stop it from boosting at all. It is only sort of starting to pick up boost by about 3,200 RPM. Like right now it's not making any boost, you know. You put your foot down and it's just 0, 1, 2. Whereas the old VJ33 would have been hard on boost right now, like it would have straight away. Whereas this makes nothing, making nothing. Come on, mate. There it is. Oh, but when it comes on, boy, we on. My God. Listen to it. Jesus! Little whistle, mate, it's a C15 with bloody brake savers, that is. What? I don't even know if I could gravel hack, because it just doesn't even like pick up boost in seconds. So where the old one would just come straight on boost and just let me skid no matter what. Oh yeah, she started too. I heard it. Makes a buzzy noise, man. This is like a legit, like this is a whistling diesel, mate. She's just whoosh. Boost comes on, but it's not real usable like it used to be, you know. You used to be able to just put your foot down and it would just whack straight onto boost. First gear, second gear, third gear, like it would just be on boost no matter what. And because the factory VJ33s are little ball bearing turbos, like they really respond real quickly. They're a really good turbo. They just run out of puff, whereas this one's got heaps of puff, but right now, look, I got nothing. 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 I got, there we go, come on. You missed the apex, mate. Shit. I got nothing. I got nothing. Come on. Oh. Well, there it is, big bloody turbo on Cliffy. So it's a TD06 turbo. It's apparently an Evo 6 factory turbo. It makes sort of sense because, you know, in an Evo 6 or something, you know, you'd get to 3,500 RPM and you'd be on boost and you'd be singing all the way to 8,000 RPM. Well, old Cliff Dog, you get to 3,200 RPM and you kind of want to go another few hundred RPM and change gear. So that's kind of a bit of a letdown. But it's still pretty cool, you know. I've got a big turbo on there, I've changed my manifold, I've gotten away from the factory VJ turbos, which is, or the factory IHI turbos, which is great news for me because I've blown like 3 of them, so that out the window. Now obviously it's not running as good as I want it to because I want boost to be coming on nice and quick. I really want it to be hitting a bit harder than that, and it's not a big enough capacity motor for the size of the turbo. So what do? I've never really ventured down this road. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. Sort of knew it'd be a bit too big, but you know, it was what it was. That's how the deal came, and yeah, here we are. So I mean, it's running 20 pound when it does get up in there, but yeah, it just really needs to be loaded right up, and the revs need to be right up there. And Cliffy, I've always enjoyed Cliffy because it's just like instant power. Like you can toge him, you just come around a corner and you just stomp it, it's right there. He's not real quick, but he's peppy, like it's just on, you know. So you can thrash it through town, and like you're not really thrashing it because you're just like rum 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 rum, you know, through your gears, and you're at 50 k's and fuck, it feels like you're flying. But so what we're going to have to do now is probably do a bit of research with this TD06. I have to take the numbers off the turbo and do a bit of googling, because I'd say what I need to do is downsize the exhaust housing by making the exhaust housing smaller, because that's where it gets its charge from. You know, the exhaust gases come out, they spin the exhaust turbine, and that is what in turn spins the intake turbine to create the boost. If we downsize just the housing on the exhaust side, I'm pretty sure this is what you do anyway, what that does is it squeezes all the exhaust combustion gases up, and it makes them spoil the turbo up quicker, apparently. Maybe, not sure. Yeah, and if you're here for the first time too, subscribe, there's a bell, you know, you hit the notification thing and fucking bang on!